Hi friends, it's Queen Alita. I'm back with another prophetic message from the Lord today. But today it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. I've never done this before, but this is all God led, so I'm excited. It is still based on a dream, but it's not gonna be the same as always. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. I just want to welcome you back to the channel, and I want to welcome anyone who is new to the channel, and just put out this disclaimer that it's important for you guys to understand that not every prophetic word is meant for everybody, okay? You have to take it before the Lord and ask him for confirmation. If he's speaking to you, he will definitely give you confirmation. The key thing here is that you are able to hear God's voice for yourself. That is so important, that you have that relationship with him, that you're able to communicate with him, because he's always communicating with us. It's up to us if we will go and meet him in that place, right? And for some of you, this word is confirmation. God has been speaking to you about this very thing, and he's using this video to confirm that. I still encourage you to just continue to seek him, continue to ask him your questions, get the revelation that you need from him, strategies, all of that, get that from him, because I only know a part of the story. We prophesy in part and we know in part, so the rest, the whole full picture, only he can give you. So that relationship is really, really important. It's the most important relationship you will ever have, okay? So cultivate that, work on that, strengthen that, okay? So this is going to be a word based on a dream that I didn't have. This is the first time I'm doing this since I started here, and I started in September of 2019. So yeah, this is a dream that someone close to me had, and I'm going to read the dream from their perspective. So I'll use words like because I think it's just easier to read it that way. But it is not my dream. I'm putting it out there. It is the dream of someone else. And when they shared the dream with me, I remember thinking, this is something that people need. They need this message. When we were unpacking the meaning of the dream, and they had the same thought and the same feeling. So that was kind of confirming in our spirits that we needed to put this out there, or at least I need to put this out there, because it's a word for more than one person. So I'm going to read the dream. I'm going to do my best. I kind of like made some bullet points. But like I said, I'm going to read it as if I had the dream, but it is not my dream. So they had this dream on August 23rd, by the way, just so you know. I was in someone's house, their home, right? This is a well-liked person, and I believe that this is someone from my past. I needed to use the bathroom to do a number 2, but when I got to the bathroom, the toilet was already filled with feces. We're going to use that term because it's scientific and not offensive. So the toilet was filled with feces, and it was the owner, that well-liked person, who had left the toilet in that state. They hadn't flushed after themselves. And I had a knowing that he was the one that was last in there. So I wasn't able to use the toilet. And then I decided to flush it, and it overflowed onto the bathroom floor and into the living room / family room. I went to find the guy to tell him what happened, and I said to him, hey, you didn't flush the toilet, and you were the last one in the bathroom, and look at what has happened as a result. And he proceeded to feel very embarrassed. I knew in the dream that he was extremely embarrassed, but he was more concerned about his embarrassment than wanting to clean up. He wasn't taking the action to clean up. Then some other people entered the living room / family room, and they were stepping all over the water and the feces. And that was pretty much the dream. So let's unpack this dream. This was a very powerful dream, and it's really for a very specific group of people, and you will know if it's for you because God has been speaking to you about this. This has to do with some personal issues that you have, and some strongholds that you need to overcome. So you'll know if it's for you because you already know these things, are challenges for you. So I just want to just quickly touch on the symbol of a bathroom / toilet, and the act of doing a number 2 that really has to do with removing toxins. So we eat food, and then obviously it has to pass through our system. The body takes the nutrients it needs, and then all the rest of it that the body can't use gets expelled, right? And when we look at that spiritually, when we look at that from the perspective of a dream, this is talking about deep healing, okay? About stuff that we have taken in. When you eat, symbolically taking in food really talks about stuff that you've been kind of fed, whether it's doctrine, whether it's teachings, whether it's so when I say teachings, it could be things you were taught growing up, just so many things that you have taken in, right? And there are certain toxins. For example, there may be bitterness, there may be unforgiveness, there may be low self-esteem issues. You may have trouble with confrontation. You may have trouble with connecting with people, trust issues. So all of those are toxins that need to be expelled from us. So for those of you who this word is for, in order for you to move forward in your life, in order for you to move into everything that God has for you, you need to deal with this stuff, right? So that is what a toilet would represent in terms of when you need to use it in a dream. So when we look at what happened in the dream with this person wanting to use the toilet and not being able to because it was clogged up, and when they tried to flush it, it overflowed, right? And it overflowed into a more public area of the house, and not only they were affected, but even other people that came out. And I believe that what God is showing through that is that there are people, or there is a certain person, or maybe people in your life that really have been in your life. The fact that this person was from their past and a well-liked person means that it could be people that you get along with, people that really are well-liked. It could be family members, it could be pastoral people, it could be really anybody. And I get this strong sense of pastoral people because of the fact that there were so many people in the house that were affected by this. So but that's just one example. It's not to say that that's it for everybody. So these people have their own stuff to deal with, and they haven't dealt with it properly. And I believe that God is showing some of you that there are things that you need to confront, and you confronting these things is going to help you deal with some stuff. You're going to be able to get the release that you need. And I also believe that the dream is showing that there are things that, as much as you need to confront certain things, at the same time, don't take on what isn't yours to take on. So this particular person, I know them very well, and they do have this tendency to want to do stuff for people and not let them be embarrassed, not let them be in a bad position. They used to always put themselves in a compromising position just so that the person can be comfortable and not embarrassed and all of that. But in the dream, they acted out of character. And I believe God was showing that there are many of you who need to step out of that space where you always feel like, it's okay, I'll clean up the mess, I'll deal with this situation, and all you need to do is speak up and say what you need to say. Whatever God is telling you to speak up about, whatever He's telling you to confront, you need to confront it and bring it to light, because it's affecting you. You're not able to get the healing that you need. And by you confronting this issue, by you going ahead and saying, hey, look, as a result of what you did, this is what has happened, you are going to get the release that you need. You are dealing with certain things. You are overcoming certain fears, whether it's fear of confrontation, fear of people, fear of man, This really has to do with overcoming certain fears and certain strongholds and certain things that you've had for a long time. Hence the need for this particular person to use the bathroom. But in order for them to do that, they had to confront the issue. So it's important for you to speak up because... so it is important. It's so important for you to speak up because what this person or those people are doing does not only affect you, but other people are affected as well. There were people that came in towards the end of the dream and they were stepping in that whole mess. And the living room is that room in the house that is most public, if that makes sense. So that's where you invite your guests into. They don't go into your bedroom. They don't go into certain areas of your house. The living room is really where you receive your guests. So in this space, as this person operates in the space where they invite people into their life, where they minister to people, they have stuff that they need to deal with, because if they don't, people are going to be affected by what they're not dealing with. They may have started the process, but they need to complete it. And God is going to give you insight to be able to say, hey, you need to call that person out. You need to confront this because they're not only affecting your life, other lives are being affected. So you need to speak up because God is going to use you to not only help you, but to help others also come into that freedom, into a place where they can also get the release that they need. So just reading my notes. Hang on, I said that point. Going back to the part about it's not your responsibility to clean their mess. Do not feel obligated to clean up anybody's mess. You have your own stuff that you need to deal with. And this is the thing. This is the main thing. This is what God wants from you, is to be able to stand up for yourself, because that was the key thing in the dream. This person who had the dream went up to this other guy and said, this is the mess that you have created. That is where the magic lies, in being able to say, I'm not afraid to confront the situation. I'm not afraid of this person or these people. And I'm able to gently, lovingly point this out because they need to deal with it. In some cases, well, let me put it this way. How that person receives it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So often we get caught up in, well, if I confront it, what if they hate me? What if they retaliate? What if they get angry? What if they do this? What if they talk to that person and then it triggers that, and then this happens, and you're seeing like this worst case scenario building up in your mind. It doesn't matter. All of that could happen. So many things could happen, but it doesn't matter. Let that not be the thing that deters you, because you can't control a person's reaction. We're not meant to control anybody's reaction, and we're not meant to take anything personally. Whatever their reaction is, do not take it upon yourself. It's not for you. They have stuff to deal with. What God was showing in this dream is that they're more concerned about their image. That person who had created the mess felt embarrassed, and they was just so concerned about being embarrassed instead of, oh, let me sort this out. So they have issues with being seen a certain way, and that is their issue. Don't put yourself in a position where you're worried about that, or worried about their reaction, or what chain of events may happen because you spoke up. And don't take anything personally. When people hurt us and when they say certain things that are uncomfortable, or whatever the case may be, we need to come out of the habit of taking it personally, like, oh, they hate me, or because me. It's not. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's more about them than it is about you. It's more about their own brokenness and their own issue. So don't take it personally. Even when people compliment you, don't take it personally. Thank them. But be secure in who you are. If someone tells you, let's say you are a great writer, you know, the way you use words is amazing. You just know how to put it together. And when people read your stuff, it's always just magical. And someone compliments you and says, well, you're such an awesome writer. We love to hear stuff like that. It is very encouraging, and that's good. But my point is, you should already know that. We should be able to receive compliments with the understanding that we are already those things. You are already good at what it is that you do, and you really don't need that compliment. It's great that you have it, but take it as a light thing. It's more about them most of the time that they're complimenting you. You know, I hope I'm making sense. Be secure in your identity. Be secure in your abilities and in what God has put in you, so that you don't actually need people to compliment you. You don't need people to make you feel bad about things. It's good to have wise counsel, absolutely. But that's always in safe environments and safe places. There are people that you do need who will, help you along the way, help mold your character, help you to see your flaws. And that's a good thing to have. But do not take things personally. When people hurt you, when they treat you a certain way, they're going through stuff, they have stuff to deal with. And that's what I'm getting from this dream is you've got to confront certain issues, and don't even concern yourself with how they react. Surrender that to God, because that's his business, and he's going to deal with that person or those people the way he sees fit. I hope I've been clear. I don't want you guys to think that you aren't to be held accountable. We are to be held accountable. Accountability is great, but what the point I'm trying to make is you got to speak up for yourself, because this is the thing that's going to help you deal with certain toxic things that you have been carrying, certain beliefs about yourself. Don't take it personally when they react in a negative way. It's more about them and whatever buttons you have pushed that trigger them, and they have to deal with their stuff. Okay, you can't always be tiptoeing around people so that they're not feeling this or that. It's not your job to protect everybody. Okay, it really isn't. God could be using you to start a process in them, and if you're not stepping up to the plate, if you're not speaking up, you're delaying their process as well. So there's all of these things to consider. And the Lord gave me such a beautiful scripture. It's in Acts 18 verse 9 to 10, and it reads as follows. Don't be afraid. There's an exclamation mark there. I think most of these have exclamation marks. Don't be afraid. Speak out. Don't be silent. For I am with you. This is the Lord speaking to you. I am with you, says the Lord, and no one will attack and harm you. For many people in this city belong to me. I love it. It goes back to that last point I made. Do what you need to do. Speak, don't be afraid, because those people belong to God as well, and he's trying to do something in them, and he needs you to step up and speak up. Okay, so that's the word for today. I'm so blessed that this dream was shared with me, because I know that it's ministering to a lot of you out there that needed to hear this. Some of you are such peacemakers. You always just want to keep the peace and you want to avoid conflict. But there's a place and time for everything. When you live in fear of man, that peacemaking side of you becomes used for evil instead of good. So it's good that you're a peacemaker, but you have to have boundaries, and you have to be able to speak up when you need to and call out when you need to, all in love, of course. So I pray that the word has blessed you, and I will see you in my next video. Always remember that God is a good Father. He loves you so much, because you, my friend, are so deeply special to him. Your Majesty, full of